shit. Let me fix a little bit on the right. Okay. Oh yeah, shit, I need to change title. I'm gonna change the game on Twitch. Okay. Okay, I'm live on YouTube as well. Alrighty. It's all quiet. Fairies are doing time. Is it reading EX? Dude, I can't read. Monka S. I'm about to get the Razor best voice acting. Fuck. Alright, wait. Let me make it just a bit smaller. There we go. Okay. So... Okay. Huh. I kind of forgot what happened. I guess we'll read chapter 1.5. Morning in the city moved deceptively fast. Alright. People all over were up and about, to the point that you might think that the morning didn't exist at all. Sojiro woke up to a still unfamiliar groan like rolling rocks. It was probably his neighbor Yoshida heading on his motorbike. The line between day and night was blurred here. Machines were synonymous with sleeplessness. Unbelievable, the sun isn't even up yet. Where could he be going? Slowly he lifted himself out of bed. He almost started to survey the area out of habit, but he realized there was no need and headed towards the washroom. There, he drew a cup of water from the faucet and leisurely quenched his thirst. Also, I kind of left the stream on and I hosted someone and forgot to end the stream, so rip pepperoni. Considering he had only drunk well water until just recently, he liked the convenience. It was right to like it. Okay. Koga had taught him that civilization was the pursuit of sophistication and optimization. Well, he's not wrong. The effort required to meet basic needs was dropping, even as the complexity of human life increased. And it was his duty to adapt to that life as quickly as possible. Koga was a distant relative of Sojiro's father, and had done a lot for Sojiro despite the fact they were practically strangers. He was the one that had acquired the lease on his apartment, and filed the paper return to Sojiro to enroll Sojiro in school. Oh, what a nice guy. The only thing Sojiro had to take care of himself were simple clerical matters to the local government to finalize his move. Dude, what a nice relative, dude. What the hell? You know what? I'll pay for your apartment. Don't worry. Though he wasn't good with formalities, he kept his goal in sight and tried his best, and before he knew it, everything was in order. The bureaucracy may seem strict, but it's actually pretty sloppy. That was the first lesson he learned about life in the city. Damn. He's not wrong, though. It had already been 2 weeks since he left the countryside. Although he was still riddled with anxiety at the idea of living alone, he was sure he could handle anything if he put his mind to it. It wasn't like he didn't speak the language, and just as Koga said, when it came to the purely practical side of life, the rules of the city were very logical. You guys kind of can't see because of the text covering, the chat covering. The path was hard, yet surprisingly easy to walk on. He was jogging in the park to kill time until work. The way he saw it, even this sort of exercise held important lessons. Every single person that passed by was a new experience. The old man that waved and greeted him. The 20-something youth walking with his head down. The girl sitting on a bench feeding the birds. He couldn't give those moments up for anything. Since he was not yet used to the city, he had to work to grasp its rules. Sometimes complicated and sometimes simple. Sometimes meaningful and sometimes not. Compared to life in the mountains, where the only worry was nature, life here had too many choices. Honestly, it was almost poisonous. Oops, I said it was too. Everything that happened made him uneasy. But even in the city where so many things made no sense, there were rules he could admire from the bottom of his heart. For example, the rule that you could get almost anything you needed as long as you had money, that alone was enough to make him think that life in the city might not be so bad. Yes, you can get anything, almost anything you need as long as you have money. Gotcha. I mean, he's not wrong. Well, it's not quite that simple. Money itself is only a symbol. It's not what's really important. In the end, it's no different from favor coupons. I mean, it's not like you can eat a 10,000 yen bill, yeah. And it can't buy you happiness either. That's not true. They can buy you waifus. If you say so. Hey, don't screw up with me. I'm gonna cry. I don't want to hear that kind of money is everything talk from a guy washing dishes for 4,000 yen a day. Man, that is really sad. Sorry, I just think the monetary system is really amazing, that's all. I never realized how limited bartering was. So I kind of forgot, like... Did anyone, like, remember what happened in the first chapter, basically? Okay, so... Aoko went to school, had to help around guy who had no experience with life in the city. He lived in the mountains, and then blah 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 stuff happens. Oh yeah, and they talk about like he's like Sojiro's kind of likes not romantically, but just kind of like is interested in Aoko, etc. I think from the vice president. And like she heads back and they have like dinner or something. I forgot. Like, it's been a while. More importantly, Kinomi, if you keep messing around, the plates will fall. What did you... Whoa, that was close. If I break anything else, it'll be my neck. Thanks for the heads up anyway. What did you want to talk about? Something to do with money? That's right, I really started to realize just how important money is, and that it's better to have a lot of it. So I wanted to work some more if I can. Wait, really? You're already working like a machine. From what I just say, money doesn't make the world go round. That would be love. But putting that aside, doesn't that water bother you? Can't imagine anything worse than washing dishes in the winter. Oh sure, it's cold, but I can endure this much. It's not as painful as the water in the mountains. Damn, dude. Don't compare it to ice water, you feral bastard, really? Though you're surprisingly adaptable. Or maybe you're just tenacious. You couldn't even work the register when you got here, but just in 4 days you practically become the stingy restaurant slave. I guess that's what money does to people. Capitalism sure is amazing. It is amazing. Shut up, moron. If you got a problem with, then quit already. I'm not paying you to sit around with your thumbs up your ass. Now bursts preparing to throw across the room, followed closely by a pair of cooking chopsticks. The manager of this laid-back Chinese restaurant, willing to employ minors, was a burly man with a legendary temper. This is what they call Spartan, huh? Sojiro whistled in admiration. See, you got scolded. That's why you shouldn't focus on work. Suck up. People our age are supposed to be rebellious. Well, whatever. Let's change the subject. Do you like going out at night? Maybe riding your bike around? Huh? It's usually night by the time I leave work, but I'm not really interested in evening strolls or outings. Why? Right, you wouldn't know since you just moved here. This town is actually kind of dangerous. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like it's full of hooligans or anything. It's just that every year, maybe 10 or so people are killed by a slasher. What the fuck? That's crazy. Well, no, that's not true. At Chicago, it's like 100 people die of gun violence every year, so doesn't really surprise me. So maybe slasher ain't so bad, especially if it's a big city. I got a slutty nun from the ticket. Ooh, nice, ooh, nice, ooh. What's a slasher? You don't even know that? How should I put it? It's nothing like a purse snatcher, really. It's more like a samurai how samurai used to cut down people in the streets to test their weapons, I guess. The victims usually turn up in the residential district near the forest. Anyway, don't go out at night unless you absolutely have to. The park in Misaki Hills is an infamous hotspot of weirdos. Of weirdness. Some people even say the slasher is a slit-mouthed woman. Jason Voorhees handed the town? Maybe. A slit-mouthed woman. It's a ghost story about a woman whose mouth is split from ear to ear. It's sort of an old-fashioned now, but it used to be really popular. If I remember right, she ambushed people in the street in the dead of night and asked them if they think she's pretty. So it's like the Joker. You want to know how I got these scars? But whether they say yes or no, she chases them home and kills them. So it's just like... it's exactly like, you want to know how I got these scars, the Joker thing. A woman's passion sure is terrifying, huh? It's like something out of an American comic book. That's true. Well, isn't that seriously scary? She actually follows you all the way home? Yeah, she probably crawls right through the window, rustling just like a cut. Hey, shitty brat, that word is forbidden in the kitchen. Die. The manager slammed his frying pan into the back of Kinomi's. Oh, damn! You think that would cause him, like, some brain... Like, depending on how hard he hit it, it could have been, like, brain damage. Or, like, concussion. Or both. Once again, Shojo was struck with admiration. This town really is dangerous. Wow, this town's out to kill me. Isn't that worse than what I said? I mean, this is just a restaurant, for God's sake. Not that you know it from the food. Is your head okay, Kinomi? Oh, yeah, no need to worry. I'm known for my toughness, and that goes double for my head. Oh, so you're retarded. Anyway, you really should avoid dark places at night. You got a sucker's face. Thanks for the advice. Watch him break that advice immediately. By the way, that thing you mentioned about there being 10 victims a year, isn't that a lot? Is that a lot? Don't know. It's not a little sure, but there are a lot of places with more. Yeah, look like Chicago. Look how many murders happen in Chicago every year. Or Detroit. But what sets our slasher apart is that nobody's able to find them yet. Kinomi let out a gleeful cackle. He was probably only trying to take the edge off an ominous story, but of course that noble intention was lost on Sojiro. His friendly warning had no effect. In the end, Sojiro thought it was just another joke he didn't understand. Wait, that he didn't exist or whatever? Like no one could find him? Later on the way home, Sojiro was walking through the dimly lit, deserted residential district when suddenly he died. He turned his head towards an impossible noise. Ow! Something hit him in the head, and then thudded. Something hit him in the head, then thudded down to the ground beneath his feet. He furrowed his brow. Apparently, a starling had smashed into the nearby telephone. What? Apparently, a starling had smashed into the nearby telephone pole, stunned itself, and then tumbled on him as it fell. Poor F-bird. After preening itself for the street for a moment, it flew away in panic. The whole event was almost surreal. He had never experienced anything like that in his entire life. Yeah, I doubt anyone has. It was beyond his common sense. Anybody who would have probably seen it as an ill omen or auspicious event. But Sojiro merely nodded and went back to walking home. Yes, even though it was his first time. It was the first time it happened to him. He was sure it must happen all the time in the city. Yeah, sure. A bird just randomly flies into a telephone pole and smacks his way down. Oh shit. I'm home. Hey Alice, you here? I picked up some senbei from Issei on the way back home from church. Let's eat them together. A lively voice echoed through the orange-tinned lobby. It was past 5 o'clock and Naoko, still in her school uniform, was just getting home. Normally she returned earlier, but she had been tied up with miscellaneous duties from the student council, as well as the monthly negotiations with the church. Wait, what? Welcome back. I take it everything went well today? Her voice greeted her from the second floor. In contrast to Ako's energy, the girl making her way downstairs was the very embodiment of tranquility. They had some compliments, but other than that, it went off without a hitch. Complaints. Whoops. They're going to look the other way again and let us handle our own problems. That's what you wanted, right? Yes, not that I'm opposed to receiving help, mind you, but those people are snakes. Better if they only handle the cleanup like usual. Agreed. After all, we can't focus on our work if we have to watch our backs at the same time. Let's wait. Okay. Well, I can. You simply lack the required level of composure. Thump, thump, thump. Alice gracefully descended the stairs into the lobby. On the way, she shot a conspicuous glance toward the skylight, drawing Aoko's attention. The glass is clouded over, huh? Indeed, but we can talk about that after today's assignment. Speaking of which, how are you feeling, Aoko? You can rest first if you're tired. What's with that concern all of a sudden? It's creepy. It's not like there's anything bothering me. It was just a normal day. Do I really look that bad? Indeed, today had been a relatively smooth sailing. On the surface, her peaceful school life seemed the same as ever. Sure, if she really molded over there, if she really molded over, there had been incidents here and there that subvertly aggravated her headache. Dude, Aoko has some really funny expressions in this game. Like, the art is actually awesome. Like, they actually, like, there's no voice acting. I think they wanted to focus more on the music and, like, the art. But Alco has some really funny ones. And I wish I could share more of them. But in the end, even though she was a little worn out mentally, focusing on it even more was even more exhausting, so she had decided not to think about it. Stop. I can't let that stuff get to me, even at home. Today's assignment was Wish, right? Elementary suggestion. No problem, let's get started. I don't know why, but I've got a good feeling about today. In other words, she was ready to work off some stress. Pumping herself up, I'll go ahead to the second floor. What's wrong? Aren't we going to use your room? Alice nodded, but at the same time, she seemed a little disappointed. The same. I think that was that's kind of a error. So about those Iseiya senbei, if you guys don't know what senbei are basically just rice crackers. Sometimes they could be really sweet. They almost taste like I had one that almost tastes like a cookie. It was really good. It was in Ginza. But yeah, that's what senbei are. They're basically just rice crackers. Her eyes were riveted on the fresh baked snacks in Aoko's hands. Yeah, they're like baked rice crackers. When all is said and done, Alice's daily lesson ended up being postponed until after the tea. For Aoko, who was still an apprentice, Alice was not just her roommate, but also her irreplaceable instructor. Wow, so Alice is actually knows what she's doing. If she decided Aoko needed to take a rest, there was nothing to do but obediently comply. The lesson lasted for 2 hours, after which they ate the dinners they'd each prepared beforehand, and then changed venues to regroup past the time before bed. And pass the time. God, this music's really good. The sunroom was located in the east wing, next door to the parlor. With its commanding view of the beautiful garden outside, attention to detail and high-class furniture, it was once the pride and joy of Kuonji Mansion. Oh yeah, this is Alice's house, right? Because I remember that name, Kuonji. Yeah. I'm kind of reading the wiki so I can get a summary. Yeah. Okay. I kind of spoiled it for myself. Some things for myself. Monka S. With commanding view of the beautiful garden outside, attention to detail, and high-class furniture, it was once the pride and joy of the Kuonji mansion. And yes, this is Alice Kuonji. That's her name. So yeah, this is her house. And so apparently Alko is a apprentice to her. However, it's going to be a jungle in the summer. Because the residents of this house had no interest in tending to the garden whatsoever. It had long since fallen into ruin. Hey Alice, don't you have a ploy that can tidy things up out there? Alko had entered the sunroom first and was already pouring herself a cup of black tea. I'm sure I could find one if I looked, but it seems like such a hassle. Coolly deflecting her roommate's joke, Alice made for her own seat, but... Wait, those chocolates? She caught sight of the box of chocolates on the table and furrowed her brow. What is this? What is it? I'm telling you, today's failure was partly your fault. Enjoying those senbei beforehand got me too relaxed. I mean, sure, maybe using Gander when I meant to use Wish was a little much even for me, but... Lol, Gander. Isn't that like a destruction spell? Kind of like... Because we see Rin use it too, right? Against Shiro. Kind of like a laser. 6 are missing. Oh, are you talking about that? Alko cast an inquisitive glance toward the box of chocolates. Bitch, you ate the chocolate, you fat fuck. Their name was Song of Sixpence. And even if you scored the outside earth... Oh, shit. Their name was Song of Sixpence. And even if you scoured the entire earth, you wouldn't find these high-grade confections anywhere else. So what about the mirror? Did you switch it from mansion mode to Misaki mode? What the hell? Yes, it means neglecting things here. But I decided to focus on monitoring the city for now. It's been cloudy since yesterday. Little by little, we're definitely being surrounded. What the hell's going on? You mean their numbers have increased? I've located 2 more suspicious characters aside from the first. That makes 1 in the city and 2 in the forest. So they're using like the mirror to like kind of monitor things. Well, their scouting is as accurate as ever. So which is the bigger problem? The ones in the forest, despite my best efforts, they know we're watching, and they're going to be hard to draw out. I see. Then we'll make our move tonight. Tonight? It would be a major event, one that would completely transform her life. The closest analogy would be free falling with a broken parachute. Whether or not she would be able to adapt and survive is entirely up to chance. Whether nor not, that's another typo. Alko swallowed her fear and trepidation in a gulp of tea. Ever since she had declared her intentions on the night of their school's anniversary, she had completely changed. Physically and mentally. Alice accepted that strength with downcast eyes. As one possessed the same goal for her mate's mindset was assuring. No more than that, it was delightful, sorry. It had taken an entire year, but they were finally standing together on the same stage. To her, Alko was a neighbor on the road of fate, and a compatible companion. An outsider that would never see eye to eye. Even if they would one day use everything they had inherited to kill each other, there was no meaning in it if they didn't become equals first. So it was right to be pleased with her growth. What's up, Chiron? Sorry, but I can handle the night alone. If you're so desperate for something to do, practice your suggestion magecraft some more. You'll need it for the park. Alice indifferently lectured Alco without paying her so much as a glance. About the scale of tonight's enemy. About the plan for next time. About how in just 2 days she would be reborn anew. Okay already, I get it. Alco finished her tea and stood up. I'll keep practicing like you said. How did it go again? Lightly, weakly, aptly, quickly, tick-tock, hurry, right? Alco, it's lightly, weakly, aptly, quickly, hurry, tick-tock. Please try to be more careful the way you say it. It won't have a calming... The way you said it, it won't have a calming effect. Quite the opposite, in fact. Right. I'll keep that in mind. Smiling, she plucked up a chocolate and popped it in her mouth. Alice looked on in silence as Alco bounded out of the sunroom with a wave. Then after a brief pause, she snapped the box of chocolates shut, as to reprimand her roommate's thoughtless snacking. Like the holy chocolate. Can I skip through? Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what the hell happened in the last part. Sorry. I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened in the last part so I can kind of keep my brain up to speed. Did I break the game? I broke the game. Oh no, it's on. It's still working. It's just forced. Alright. Okay. Oh wait, did I forget that? Backlog. Okay, so technically he's like still alive, but he's dead. He considers him dead. Okay. Okay, I pretty much finished it. Oh yeah, I remember this part. So basically, they have a rule basically saying that if you buy uh if you buy dinner, you have to get it for both people. And she was like, and so her room Alice got dinner, and she didn't tell Alco about it because Alco in the past got sushi and gave her and instead of giving her this some of the sushi, she gave her a shitty convenience store lunch. And think of a convenience store lunch as like a better Lunchable, basically, a slightly better Lunchable. It's really bad, and she wanted to get her payback essentially. So I just kind of wanted to review like a little bit of what happened last chapter near the end. I kind of forgot, but I remember some of the basics. What the fuck? Tokyo Tomare! Zawardo. Good morning. The time is now midnight. What the fuck? 24 hours since last update. Initiating backup. Transmitting records. Commencing rescan of local environment. Sorry. Atmospheric composition report. Nitrogen, clear. Oxygen, clear. Argon, clear. Carbon dioxide, clear. Fifth theoretical element. Anomaly, anomaly, anomaly. Localized discrepancy in space-time continuum, confirmed. Encounter with Class 1 danger imminent. Switching perceptual domain from subjective to objective. Switching autonomy circuit to reserve power. Switching measurement circuit to main power. Switching camera from infrared to imagery, imaginary number emission. Oh my god, imaginary numbers. I know they had that in FGO. Now, preparing to commence hostilities. Lord, I beg of you, deliver my body from harm. The fuck is that? What's up, EA? Misaki said he had many forests. Though urbanization was advancing in the city centers, the outskirts were still alive with nature. Even as trees with wisdom of ages were felled. Even as the warm leaf mold was cleared away. Even as the songbirds' heads cocked in wonder disappeared. The mighty forest survived. They would continue to exist as realms of mystery until the light of civilization grew strong enough to violate their cultivated years. This was one of many forests. Those many forests at the neglected, undeveloped border between Misaki and Misaki Hills. It was a perfectly normal forest of no return, where the beasts driven from their homes by the city still Eked out of Eeks. Eked Eked out of mere existence. Hi, diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle. Winter had already arrived in this lonely place. Frigid winds sliced at the skin like razors. Its frost hung in the air. Anyone walking here would feel their cheeks stiffen and see their breath scatter into into hot white fog, so it's really cold. It was only 1 degree Celsius inside. Oh shit. The entire forest was in grips of a bitter cold spell. Earth, trees, beasts, nothing was spared. The cow jumped over the mown. The little dog laughed. Okay. That's fucking weird. Humans dared not to set foot inside these woods in the daytime, let alone at night. And now it was winter. Even the beasts that lived here were fast asleep in hibernation. The damp, misty air swallowed up the moonlight and concealed what dangers lay ahead. Any pitiful sacrifices that strayed off into this labyrinth would surely be lost forever. Everything was silent, save for the faint rustling of leaves in the wind and the quiet babbling of a nearby stream. There was no trace of life in this boundless darkness, whether it be beast or man. However, an incongruous black-clad figure walked through the night. The silhouette it cast was frail and slender, giving the impression of a boat lost on foggy seas. Light footsteps echoed vaguely through the woods. The figure emerging from the veil of trees was undoubtedly that of a young girl, so it's Alice. To see such craft and the dish run away with the spoon. What the fuck does this even mean? They came. They came. They're here. They're here. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Who's with it? Is it your stomach rumbling? It's grumbling. It's grumbling. What the fuck are they saying? Which should we eat? Let's eat them both. You take the left, and you take the right. We'll welcome them properly and give them a fright. After all, they're our long-awaited guests. And while we're on the topic, remember to savor the stomach and net... Oh, what the fuck are they doing? The shadows of the trees broke out into eerie laughter. And the dish ran away with the spoon. Cap. Was it a hallucination? Or possibly real? Whatever the case, they frolicked and danced and pace with the girl's steps. Yep, it's Alice. Come on. Come now, come now. Deeper, deeper. By the way, are the dice rigged? Load them with weights. File down the edges. Just as long as we hear, just as long as we don't come up 6. What the fuck? The girl's brow wrinkled, imperceptibly. Was she frightened by the voices that should not be heard? Or the presence of beasts that should not exist? Surely not. Her pursed lips didn't show an ounce of fear. She was walking forward by her own will. If she had been scared, she wouldn't have been able to move at all. Suddenly in the trees, she noticed 2 human figures observing her from the shadows. I saw them. I saw them. They're here. They're here. Better give up. There's no escape. It's your own fault. You didn't run when you had the chance. The girl came to a stop, and the 2 whirling voices stopped with her. The babbling of the stream sounded like a crackling bonfire. And oh shit! On the other side of that shallow, ankle-deep string, something that was neither of the city nor the forest emerged. What the fuck are these guys? Good evening. Is there someone I can speak to? Her voice was calm and composed. In response, the 2 slit-mouthed men slowly edged forward step by step. I see, so you're a mere gravekeeper sent only to observe. It seems I was wrong. I could have let Alco handle this. Oh, but... One of the slit-mouthed men suddenly fell forward as if he couldn't control himself any longer. That would be asking too much of her. Despite your appearances, you two seem to be full-fledged magi. Her clothes ruffled as she pulled something out. In her right hand was a glass cat, darker than the night. Their silence betrayed a slight weariness and incoherent fear. It was the first time they'd ever shown emotion. Farewell, dear visitors. We'll be parting soon, so I'm afraid this is goodbye. What the fuck? What's going on? Monka S. At those words, they clearly shuddered. To begin with, the slit-mouthed men had no ears, no mouths, no brains. They had no need for words. For them, the only thing that existed was right now. Fear and expectation were nothing more than an impossible future. Nevertheless, they felt a premonition. Right now, in this moment, they would be wiped out by a horrifying miracle. Well then, shall we pretend puppets? Shall we play pretend puppets? Whoa. Monka-ass, dude. A bell-like song rang out through the white forest. The girl's voice blew away the cold. And... Whoa, what is going on right now? Yo, what is going on right now? Is that a fucking cow? Are those fucking cows? Man, the waiting was unbearable. It's time for Little Red Riding Hood to take the stage. The curtain raised on Diddle Diddle, the banquet of the night. One of the slit-mouthed men attacked the girl in confusion. The other fled back into the woods in terror. Oh, Jesus. Yo. The puppet that sprang at her water splashing in his wake was an atrocity. It's kind of laggy, though, sometimes. I don't know why. That much she knew. Both of his arms were gruesome scissors, and his black heart was like a devil's. Any child that fell into his grasp would be epically, mercilessly cut in half. Tweedle, leave it to us. It's finally our turn, so let's go. Oh my god. The cows are going with their pigs. The flying... Oh, so these were the two, I think, that were saying stuff, I think. The flying piglets, in reality, huge stuffed animals weaved in and out between the trees as they bounced around like rubber balls. Whoa! Whoa! Monka S. They need to remaster the Fate. I mean, this should be real to Nua Cap. Like, this is awesome. But even when faced with such an uncanny sight, the Slithmound men did not waver. He raised both arms into the air. So is this the guy, like the girl that follows you home and kills you? Like it was actually these things, these puppets? However, what emerged from, puppets, doesn't that remind me of, Toko, Monka S? However, what emerged from the sleeves of his long coat were not human limbs, but two barbaric 50-centimeter carving knives. Oh, Jesus. With arms that had butchered countless prey in the past, he confronted the Finn piglets head-on, bisecting them into a single slash. Oh, damn. What? His limbs froze. Their bodies split. Severed from head to tail, they looked like two enormous crocodile maws. Without a clank, they clamped down on his arms. Everything up to his shoulders vanished, along with his freedom. Oh, there's like a... Oh, these things in the slit. These eyeballs. Dread ran through him. In an instant, he understood. These things were not familiars made from piglets. They are monstrous staplers that merely masqueraded in that form. Dumb's got you. D's got you too. But it's too bad. Our master's silent, cruel, and totally indifferent. No matter who takes the credit, it's all the same to her. London Bridge is broken down. Broken down. Broken down. Yeah. Impossible. This was impossible. The slit-mouthed woman complained to himself on a loop. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Talking piglets, that was fine. His arms being swallowed up, that was fine too. But even those freakishly huge wave of magical energy that had washed over the forest was splendid, hateful though it was. None of those things merited surprise. True, they were rare familiars, sure, True, the attack was bizarre, and true, the girl had a ridiculous amount of magical energy. But he experienced all those things before. In the first place, his own master was like that. However, what to do, how long will you last? These limbs of yours really are extravagant. Payment is annoying, but we'll take pounds if you can spare them. What were these things? They weren't empty vessels. They weren't living beings. They weren't even creatures animated by magic circuits. Though only his arms had been swallowed, his entire body was frozen. The phenomenon was utterly different from paralysis or weakening. It simply felt like there was no longer anywhere for him to go, as if he were to become letters on a page. Of course, he was no stranger to the supernatural. Entrancement, charm, compulsion, freezing, waxing, and even petrification, the most powerful of the mystic eyes. The puppet that had overcome countless grueling punishments ranging from drugs to magecraft screamed. This was different. This was something else altogether. The precept binding him now was a law unrelated to blood, or muscle, or oxygen, or heat. It was an unknown restraint to which rules and logic did not apply. Just saying it was horrid. It was detached from everything in this world. London Bridge is broken down, broken down, broken down. London Bridge is broken down, my fair lady. Jagged teeth gnawed on his shoulders, and for the first time since being born in this form, he felt rage. Standards must be absolute, however mysterious, however bizarre, something must be, and there were still laws. But these things shamelessly brushed that aside. The slip-mouthed man, it was an attack on his very pride. Well then, after 3 days you'll be emancipated. After 6 days, you'll be drowned. After half a year, you'll be a pile of wretched bones. Regretfully, that sounded annoying, so we'll just kill you now. Oh, Jesus. He howled. Though he had no mouth, let out a cry of indignation and wrath. Oh? Oh? The dice attach your own arms. Huh? How useful. You must be quite the warrior. The talking piglets fell into the stream. What had sounded like a ferocious scream had actually been the sound of twin explosives detonating in the slit-mouthed man's shoulders. Now armless, he rushed toward the girl. Useless idiots. Remind me to punish you later. Though he had lost his primary weapon, he still had his trump card. Dude, this is awesome. It's kind of laggy, though. Frame rate kind of suffers. A mystic eye that struck directly at its target's heart. A specialized magic circuit that introduced myocardinal infraction? You mean? It was an extraordinarily simple attack, but that was simply why it was so deadly. If it was fired at this point-blank range, it'd be an unavoidable shotgun blast of death. Oh, damn. The mystic eye is the guns now. Wait, what? But sadly, he was a creature of sight. Build it up with wood and clay. Wood and clay, wood and clay. Build it up with wood and clay, my fair lady. To the bitter end, he never noticed that the girl's rhyme had changed. Oh, damn. To the giant, this earth-shaking blow was no different than swatting a fly. Its verdant veins rippled with strength. Oh damn, he just got crushed. An ancient oaken bark was thick enough to repel even the mightiest chainsaw. And on its forehead, the word emeth was scribbled in multicolored paint, though judging from the misspelling, it was only there for appearances and served no real purpose. Oh, Jesus. It's kind of laggy. You guys see it? The giant identity was none other than the mighty Thames Troll, also known as Falling Down from the Great Bridge. Lauded under many names, this form was the first of 4 miracles. Now the other one, Thames. The giant responded to the girl's words. Oh, okay, no, if you're telling. Of course, it didn't move. Its deeply rooted legs made that impossible. But it didn't need to. It merely lifted its left arm toward the heavens and... The slit-mouthed man that ran away had been fleeing non-stop in the dark forest ever since the battle began. He was to reach safety and transmit the mission he had reported. Those were his orders. All that mattered was escaping from this familiar forest at any cost. That was their last resort in case of emergency. One would stay behind to engage the enemy, the other would retreat and report to their master. He dashed through the trees. Despite being gripped by fear, he was confident in his victory. After all, his every function had been specialized for one thing, and one thing only: escape. Nothing in this forest could match him. Even the savage wolves would doubtlessly be left in his wake. He kicked off the ground with bird-like legs. Perhaps it was due to some bias of his creator that he transformed into that of a shape which devoted himself to blunt. His top speed was 70... What the fuck? This boy! His top speed was 70 kilometers per hour, far exceeding the normal limits of two-legged beings. Several kilometers out, surely this was far enough. He stopped to confirm his surroundings. Nobody was pursuing him. His crescent mouth, slackened in relief. But then... he turned around and saw his death. London Bridge is broken down, broken down, broken down. The rhymes of Mother Goose echoed somewhere far off in the distance. At the same time, a seemingly infinite number of vines sprouted from the earth and converged in midair, forming what looked to be the arc of a bridge, perhaps a giant's arm. Yeet. Dead. London Bridge is broken down, my fair lady. Oh! Final report. Survival, impossible. Analysis, impossible. Transmission, impossible. Report concluded. Lord, I beg of you, deliver this body. Yeet. Damn. Jesus, Alice. This is the real Alice. Poggers. Good, it's over. Good job, Thames. You can come hug now. Hopefully next time we'll be able to call you out to a more fitting stage. Spinning around on her heel, the girl began to walk. The invaders that set up their workshop in this forest had been eliminated. She didn't particularly care what their motivations were, or how many victims they had claimed. In the first place, the shackles of human society didn't apply to her. That was what it meant to be a pure-blooded witch. That was what it meant to be a mindster. Hey, what about us? What about us? Oh, we can't spit these arms out on our own. We can't move when we're shooting on something. Are you saying a pig that can't fly is useless? We'll be more helpful next time, we swear, even though we always fail. That's right, we want to be praised at least once before we break. She sighed and walked over to the stream. Taking off her long black glove, she dipped her slender fingers into the frigid water. You say not to roll 6, but you never come up anything else. Her gloomy muttering was met with silence. The boisterous piglets were gone, and in their place she cradled 2 black dice in her palm. Ah. She was about to address the scattered wreckage, but brought her hand to her mouth instead. Nothing left to do here. I wonder if I should at least try to find out who made them. Her delicate white fingers lightly, almost sorrowfully, brushed her lips. After sighing for a second time, she slowly left the dark forest the same way she came from. I'm sure that's the end. Yeah. Shit. I don't have. Mag McCain, thanks for the follow, man. Now, with that small discussion finished, let us pause for a moment and jump back to a Saturday morning early in December. Third period was over, and only the end of the day homeroom remained. However, because their homeroom teacher, Yamashiro Kazuki, it's Kuzuki and there's Kazuki, was missing in action, the class 2C students, Shizuki Sojiro and Kinomi Hosuke, languishing in a state of wanting to go home but being unable to, had taken to watching the screw-arounds from the balcony. This is an eroge? No, this is a visual novel. There's no H scenes in it, unfortunately. Unfortunately, feels bad, man. The rest of their classmates were engaged in idle conversation inside the classroom. Beside them was Class A's Tsukiji Tobimaru, their companion in killing time. They were all leaning listlessly against the railing, talking about their plans for the weekend. Let me try to read that. Oh. Okay. So, Kinomi, are you gonna be working? Oh, Kinomi's the guy. Oh, Kinomi's the guy in the restaurant. Remember? Yeah, I remember. So he was like the guy working in the restaurant with him. It's a really good visual novel, though, Magma. If you're willing to give it a shot, it's a little bit of a setup. It's not all translated either. It's about, I think it's a little bit more than half, but it's really good. This is a Type Moon visual novel. Same people who did Tsukihime and Fate and Fate Stay Night. You moron! Who the hell works 7 days a week? I'm going out with the girls from Class B tomorrow. Or at least that was the plan, but it looks like it fell through. In other words, you got rejected again. Oof. Well, you do look like a clown, so... Gah! A direct attack. You really don't mince words, do you? Please, even a baby chick would learn the word rejection if it had to see your stupid Oh! Jesus, I forgot his name. This man going hard with the bird. Oh shit. Whew. Oh, that's rich coming from you. Better watch out for this guy, Shizuki. He's seriously evil. You know, they had some burns at the beginning too. Freaking Aoko burned that shit out of people. You know how you have to separate trash when you throw it away? That's what the inside of his head is like. As far as he's concerned, there's only two types of the people in this world: the ones you can use and the ones you can't. It's illegal to own people like that. Oh yeah, I've heard about it. He does kind of look like a clown though. This is a bit out of the blue, but what do you think of Kinomi Tomimaru? Oh, this guy's name's Tomimaru. Yeah. Yeah, this guy's kind of like he's the vice student council president. he's the vice president. Sorry, he's the vice student. He's the vice president of the student council. Ugh. And his dad basically like works for like the board of the school, essentially. Let's see. Yeah, you know how recently they've been saying that pretty soon you'll have to pay to get oversized trash collected, and that the era of free garbage collection is coming to an end. It's because of people like him. What else are you babbling about? You can make a pretty penny off a worn out chest of drawers, you know. I'm telling you, instant use is going to be the trend here from now on. I mean, those disposable cameras they sell at the convenience store are really, really popular these days. The world is running, catching up to me. Anyway, I guess Kinomi's working. What about you, Tobimaro? It's coming. My time to shine is coming. I've got some personal business to attend to. The old man's client's coming over, so it's my job to entertain them and show them around town. Hey, listen to me. Listen when people are talking. Anyway, I'm just going to be looking after my little sister, that's all. There's no way in hell I'm going to help out that shitty Chinese restaurant next door. How about you, Soji? Are you working tomorrow? No, I'm free. They'll all be working at the amusement park today. Whoa, you mean Kitsi Land? That place is dangerous. You definitely got a pair on you. I heard even the guys in the judo club couldn't hack it there. No way. You mean it's even harder than carrying Nekokuro's bags? Well, I wouldn't go that far. Anyway, the teacher's running late as hell, huh? Look, even Class B's next door has gone home already. Seriously, it sucks. We might have to go find him ourselves. We can't let Soji here be late for work. Tobimaro warily pushed himself up from the railing, then suddenly, as if it had been waiting for that very moment, a chime ran over the school's PA system. Class 2C's Shizuki Sojiro, please report to the faculty room immediately. Mr. Yamashiro would like to speak with you. I repeat, 2C's. There was an uncomfortable silence. Thereafter 5 long seconds, Sojiro said goodbye and left the balcony. Yeet. Right. He's out. Man, nothing interesting ever happens here. I wish someone would, I don't know, make a crop circle in the schoolyard or something like that, you know? Kinomi grumbled as he slumped his body over the railing. Don't rely so much on other people. If you want excitement so badly, make it yourself. Say, why don't you make a pass at Aozaki like you did if the class assignments were announced? That he thinks... Oh my god. That old trauma? Come on, man. Sorry to go fight with the prez isn't interesting. It's crazy. I'm a decent law-abiding student, you know. Just having a hot transfer student show up one day would be nice, though. Well, a normal girl would still be kind of boring, but maybe if she was a Hollywood producer or a famous singer from England or... Weak. If you're gonna daydream, at least make it a princess from Mars or something. Oof. Also, Mr. Yamashiro has a message for all of Class 2C students. Because he is unable to attend today's homeroom, please go home on your own. That will be all. Well, how about that? Mr. Yamashiro has been really responsible ever since he brought that new Yugo of his... What the hell? I wonder what sort of sound a 10-yen coin would make against it. What the heck is a Yugo? That's going too far. Just put some gum in the keyhole. You just have pitiful salaries, you know. No, not the whole thing, just part of it. I think it's like more than half right now. There's another group that's working on it right now. The 2 old friends walked back into the classroom, grumbling all the while. They weren't worried about their comrade in the faculty room at all. Oh shit. I'm not convinced. Students are allowed to hold part-time jobs. The school regulations even state that as long as the workplace is approved, it's actually encouraged as a way of gaining social experience. Well, yes, but in his case, the problem is that he's obviously overdoing it. And if he took a job that isn't in accordance with this labor standards law, he wouldn't be the only one in trouble. The school would be liable as well. I mean, that's true. That is true. Sparks flew between the merciless student council president and the easygoing modern Japanese teacher, and a dangerous aura filled the room. The other faculty hurried off to the conference room to save their own skins. Before Yamashiro knew it, he was all alone with Aozaki Aoko. Did they all run away? That's so mean. They're always pushing the scary stuff onto me. Don't try to change the subject. Now, for argument's sake, let's say he is working at an unapproved job. Wouldn't that be because his school isn't sufficiently accommodating his needs? That is true. That is totally true. I'm not telling you to pay his rent or something, but you should at least consider his desire to work as much as he can. That is true. And if you're really worried about unapproved jobs, start by changing the rule that says each student can only have one. Youngest head or quiet admonition and wondered where he got himself into. This was supposed to be an open and shut case. He had planned to call on the student rumored to be working multiple part-time jobs, found out if it's true, and if it was, offer a warning and some counseling before heading off to lunch, satisfied that all was right with the world. No FGO, will you stream later? I'm not sure. I kind of wanted to play this game a little bit more, though. I really like this game. I'm really interested. We only read chapter 1, and I can try to summarize it by the best of my abilities for you guys. If you guys are just coming in, we'll be basically reading. However, somehow Aoko, who had come by the faculty room completely by chance, caught wind of it, and before he knew it, things had ended up like this. Of course, he was actually agreed with her point of view, since he was well aware of the student in question's circumstances. But no matter how much he wanted to help, he was just a newcomer to the faculty. If he didn't stay on the vice principal's good side, he could lose his job, and his meager salary right along with it. Even teachers get paid shit salaries. Feels bad, man. Sorry, but my hands are tied on this one. Vice principal's orders. In that case, how about a compromise? Compromise? She pulled a single sheet of paper out of her bag. A sheet of paper which had been the source of countless headaches at that morning's faculty meeting. Wait, that's... Exactly. The Ida Church Volunteer Participation Form. As usual, the number of applicants this month is 0. There's no way a devout Christian like the Vice Principal could possibly take offense to this, right? Then why, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm not mistaken, he was complaining about the lack of faith within the student body just this morning. If I'm not mistaken, he was complaining about the You're not wrong, though I'd really like to know why you're so well informed about the private meetings between teachers. He scratched his head, but his eyes were smiling. Because he saw that she was what she was getting at. Scratch my back and I'll scratch yours, huh? Even though it's volunteering, there's still payment due to it being a school-endorsed social observation. On top of that, not only will the vice president be pleased, but... in the event that said volunteer already had a part-time job, that means he had officially gotten permission from the school to work two at once. Considering it's unprecedented, I think it's a pretty good compromise. He raised his hands in surrender. Plenty of students came to him with complaints, but few, if any, brought the perfect solution with them, too. The reason people lied on the school rule, despite being terrified of her, was probably due to this natural tendency of her to take care of others. Alright, I'll try attacking you with, from that direction. Say a prayer for me, that everything goes well, okay? Relying on others is distasteful. If you're going to participate in this little scheme, play your part properly. She stood up and bowed and turned to leave. Wait, don't go yet. I'm gonna call on Shizuki now. I need you to look after him tomorrow. Oh shit, huh? Her eyes narrowed in the glare. Just now, she could have sworn she heard something utterly incomprehensible. Dude, she hates him. She hates Sojiro. I was just thinking, 2 volunteers is better than 1, right? And it would really put my mind at ease if you were there as an escort. Hey, wait a minute. Hello, broadcasting room. Could you call Suzuki Sojiro from Class 2C into the faculty room for me? It's urgent. Thank you. Seriously, wait. This is perfect. To think all my problems would get solved in one fell swoop. It's my lucky day. Oh shit, dude. This guy, okay, she like 5-headed him, but he 6-headed her. Damn, dude. Big brain. But you're being unusually helpful, aren't you, Aozaki? Could it be that that guy's actually your type? Oh shit. He said the cursed words. Hey, broadcasting room, as long as I got you on the line, let me add something else to the announcement. Say that the student council president is waiting here eagerly. Mr. Yamashiro? Oh! Yeet. Jesus. The next day, a pleasant Sunday morning. Sojiro woke up 2 hours before the arranged meeting time. Afterward, he went on a jog to steady his nerves, though he had the intention to return within 30 minutes. He ended up getting lost in thought. Before he knew it, almost an hour had passed, and he rushed back to his apartment in a panic. He racked his brain, agonizing over what to wear, but in the end decided to just go with his school uniform. Meet me at the east entrance of Misaki Central Park at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Yesterday in the faculty room, Aozaki Aoko said so with a face that looked like she was doing her best to ignore a headache. Was she coming down with something? Dude, she really hates him. Like, the thing is that Sojiro is so ignorant of the outside world, and it pisses her so much that she has to explain everything to him. And she's just so tired of it. And she just... she does not like him at all, basically. But yeah, that's Sojiro. Sojiro's like he's like a complete outsider. He didn't live in any sort of like modern civilization his entire life, and so now he's just kind of like moving in, and he's trying to get accustomed to everything. I hope she feels better soon. Apparently misunderstanding something fundamental, he muttered misplaced words of worry. At any rate, he ended up waiting for about 5 minutes. Aoko showed up at 10 o'clock sharp. Morning, you're as punctual as ever, huh? What's with that face? You're not sick, are you? I gotta deal with the bumpkin again. That is so true, though. She's like, I have to deal with this retard again. No, I'm pretty sure I'm fine. He brushed away her worries. But true, Aoko is definitely waifu, okay? Too bad we'll never get her Nef Geo, Pepega. I was just surprised to see you wearing your school uniform. Well, of course I am. This is for school, isn't it? He slumped his shoulders. 2 hours he had spent fretting over his clothes and had been ruthlessly spoiled just like that. They were walking near the station. Though at first Aoko had been taking the time to properly show Sojiro around town, now she was offering only the bare minimum explanation. It was partly because he was surprisingly well informed already, but also, oh, the food here is really good. When you're in a hurry, this is a useful shortcut. If you ever want to buy a bicycle, that specialty shop over there is better than the department store by the station. He suddenly realized what they must have looked like to a third-party observer. Dato. Anyway, can we talk about the job for a minute? I've been needing to ask you exactly what kind of work it's going to be. If you volunteer at the church, the school will overlook your multiple part-time jobs. He had agreed almost immediately, but it seemed that, true to form, he hadn't even considered what the job would entail before he accepted it. Well, I figured that might be the case. Is this your first time going into the Ida church? It's actually the second time. I've been there once before, because I thought it was an unusual building and I wanted to see what it was. The person inside gave me some free candy. He seriously contemplated what sort of organization it could be. With his downcast eyes and thoughtful gaze, he was the very image of a philosopher. However, when all was said and done, I wonder if they make you pay for the second time on. He was just worried about something like that. Normally, it's something they only do for children, you know. She sighed. She must have seemed like a lost lamb showing up to their doorstep. So, who was it you met? The priest or the sister? It was a beautiful woman. That would be Sister Yuika. I'd tell you to thank her when you meet her today, but I guess there's no need, since it's you after all. Anyway, the work should be simple enough, since it's the same as what you've been doing at school. It's surprisingly understaffed, considering how big it is. quickened her pace as they approached the church, like a ferocious general storming into enemy territory. It made Sojiro a little uneasy. The Ida Church had a long and storied history. It was a pure white sanctuary, standing on the threshold between the business and residential districts, far from the hustle and bustle of the station. As far as Aiko knew, it had been remodeled into its current form roughly 8 years ago. It was now more than large enough to accommodate this rural town. Incidentally, it was also right next door to the largest general hospital in Misaki City. If you asked her, shrewdly setting up shop next to the place was the highest, with the highest death toll in town was incredibly shady. Though the only ones who knew she felt that way were Alice and the church priest. That is true. Oh, you died? Oh, look, there's a church right conveniently here that can handle the burial, or something. Or here's some I guess like a curse, cursed by the church. Oof. She is right. Do you have some sort of connection to this church? Me? Not at all. In fact, I wish I could go back in time and erase every association I ever had with them. Unfortunately, though, they have deep ties with my father and grandfather. When I was in elementary school, I had to come here and help out every day. It was so annoying. The more she talked, the more vicious her expression became. She was exuding a magnificently high-spirited aura. It felt like if she had met her so-called trauma on the street, she'd walk up to it, grab it by the collar, do a one-armed shoulder throw, drive its skull into the ground, and then finish it off by stomping on its defenseless, crumpled body. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. Aoka, please. It's such a fucking savage. Monka S. I think so, roughly. Just when her bad mood was starting to make Sojiro fear for her safety, a young woman in a nun's habit emerged from the front entrance, perhaps drawn out by the rustling of the crows that had started flocking in the sky above. Excuse me, but is someone there? I'm afraid this church doesn't do business with criminals and thugs, so I must respectfully ask you to take your leave, though. If you truly desire to repent and change your ways, our doors are always open. It's Aozaki Aoko, Sister Yuika. Oh damn, it is a waifu. Waifu sister? What is that? Oh my, Miss Aoko. Isn't this a surprise? It's been a long time since you came here in the daylight. You're right. Usually I only get called here at night to talk about with the priest. You and I guess we haven't had a proper conversation in almost a year. Not that I expect to change anytime soon. That to change anytime soon. Not Kiara Razor. Well, Kiara ain't a waifu, she's a thought. She is a thought. Yes, you matured quite a bit as well. It's disappointing. Your presence just now was so merciless I barely recognized you. On the surface, it was a harmonious exchange of greetings. Sojiro was totally oblivious to the tense atmosphere between them. From his point of view, they seemed to be getting along fabulously. This guy here and I are your volunteers this month. For the sake of our beloved Ida Church, we kindly offer to work from 11 to 3, not a minute longer. Oh, wonders never cease. In that case, welcome. The house of the Lord is open to all, so overlook your attitude just now. Her smile was elegant and cruel. Still setting everything else aside, it seems she was genuinely pleased to have some extra hands helping out around the church. The sister introduced herself as Suse Yuika, and thanked Sojiro for volunteering. He was curious to see why she never opened her eyes, but since Aoko was there, and she didn't want to accidentally say something rude, he refrained from asking about it. Mr. Shizuki? What a calm name, it matches your voice perfectly. Oh, thank you, I guess. The sister's face darkened slightly at its unenthusiastic response. My apologies, it appears you dislike being called by your family name. Would Mr. Sojiro be more to your liking? Oh no, either way is fine, really. If you say so, honestly, how troublesome. Though her tone was gentle, her words were somehow cold. She led the way through with closed eyes and sure-footed confidence. Now, about the work you'll be doing. You don't need to tell me. It's always Christmas. It's almost Christmas, so you want to get the tedious cleaning out of the way, right? No problem. That's our specialty. Though that really only applied to Sojiro. In that case, Mr. Ako, go to the kitchen and start preparing communion wafers. Mr. Shizuki, you'll be working outside. I need you to clean all the places I can't reach myself. Hey, wait a minute. Won't Ritsuko be there? I'll pass, thanks. Ritsuko's out today, so please feel free at ease. Please feel at ease. Ako waved her hand and walked to the door leading deeper into the chapel. It seemed like she was really familiar with this church, just like she had said. This way, Mr. Shizuki. First, we need to get the cleaning supplies from the storeroom. The work with which Sojiro was entrusted was perfectly normal window cleaning, the epitome of unskilled labor. So I just need to wipe down all the windows. Yes, first use a damp cloth, then a dry cloth, then finish with the cleaning solution. Is the ladder tall enough? Looks a little short. Then just clean the places you can reach. I'll be heading back now. After that brief exchange, the sister returned to the church. Did she trust him that much, or did she simply have a curt personality by nature? He couldn't say from just one meeting. To begin with, he didn't have that sort of investigative talent. Thankfully, though, he wasn't the type to get depressed just because he was left alone and quickly got to work. Once again, the weather was half-hearted and disappointing. It didn't look like it was going to rain, but it wasn't sunny either. He sat on top of the ladder, tranquilly washing windows 5 meters above the ground. This sort of manual labor didn't bother him. In fact, if there had been a clear blue sky overhead, he probably would have considered it a perfect holiday. As he finished off the third window, then the fourth, he fell into a comfortable rhythm and started to whistle a little. Being so high up was unnerving, sure, but at the same time the view was amazing. If he turned his gaze toward the town, he could see the tree-covered hill that had been on his mind since he moved here. So there really is a house in the woods after all. Totally, yeah. The hill at the outskirts of Misaki, and the forest looking down, looking down over the town that never slept. Sorry. From here, they look like a fortress with some foreign land. Hey, what are you doing up there, Mr. Burglar? Suddenly, he was pulled out from his reverie by a voice from below. When he glanced down, he saw a kind yet sloppy-looking woman approach from at a trot. But he has an easygoing feel to him that doesn't suit a master thief, like a bearded saint that forces unneeded toys on people after popping out of their fireplace. Santa. Just thinking about that creeps me out. Totally trespassing, right? She looked to be in her late 20s. Despite the cold, she wasn't wearing a jacket, nor was she carrying a purse. Though it was something Sojiro had no way of knowing yet. Adult women and purses were usually inseparable. The fact that she didn't carry a bounty of that was a testament of her free spirit. Then again, maybe she had just had a few screws loose. Wait, now I remember. You're the part-timer from Misaki High, right? Wow, high school students are even better than professional contractors. She looked up and voiced her admiration. Okay, I'll help too. Are there any more ladders, rags? No. Oh well, I'll just hose then. I know it's wrong, but at least it should be fun, right? She laughed like she was seriously enjoying herself. Her smile was glowing like a walking cactus. In short, she was a nuisance. True to his impression, she didn't even wait for his response. She just jumped right in and started cleaning. Is that Kiara? I don't know, Monka S. Probably not. So I was walking by when I saw something that looked like a person clinging to the front of the church. I thought it was a pretty bold thief to work in broad daylight, so of course I wanted to get a closer look. Pretty bold, yeah. Imagine my surprise when it turned out to be a cute kid earnestly washing windows like a pro. It was sort of cool. Wouldn't anyone want to help out if they saw something like that? She rambled on merrily as she claimed the next window over. Everything about her was suspicious, but Sojo nodded along politely. Yeah. He must have instinctively understood. This woman had always had this kind of maniacal work pushed off onto her, just like him. Do you work at this church? Me? Oh no, I'm just a simple passerby. More importantly, why are you being so reserved? We already met a bunch of times in the shopping district. We have? Oh shit. Of course, you're the kid that works part-time at Uotatsu, right? I've eaten there several times this week alone. Hanasawa. Yeah. What's your name? A frank grin had spread over her face when she glanced down at the flower bed just now. It's a fake name. I want to look up the real name though. Hanas. Frank Good had sweat over her face when she glanced down at the flower bed just now. Sojo replied with his usual awkward style introduction. Sojiro, huh? That's a nice name. Very traditional, unlike the people here at this church. Seriously, don't you think that Eri and Yuika both seem kind of foreign? Both seem sort of foreign. I don't know how about Eri, but Sister Yuika was a dark-haired beauty. You mean you haven't met the priest yet? Even though the Aida Church is known for its handsome priest and 2 stunning sisters? Oh wait, you just moved here recently, didn't you? And on top of that, you're living all alone. That's right, but you're really amazing, you know. All of your guesses so far have been scarily accurate. I'm not guessing, I'm reasoning. A kid who works as hard as you isn't doing it for fun. If you just wanted money to play around, a single job would be more than enough. Plus, you don't seem like the greedy type. In which case, it's safe to say that you're doing it to cover your living expenses, right? Though, if you ask me, a student paying for his own living expenses and tuition is exactly healthy. High school tuition, Monka S. Sorry, but I disagree. Only those who work get to eat. That's so, you're pretty mature for your age, saying things like that. Well, I worked non-stop when I was a student too, so I kinda understand your situation. Really? You lived alone too? Yeah, I rebelled against my parents and studied abroad in another country. Since I had friends there already, I didn't have to worry about finding a place to stay, but I still had to scrounge up the money to pay for all my own food. Of course, you can probably tell I'm the type that doesn't mind working with my hands, so both school and work were fond memories for me. Once again, he found himself nodding along with her words. This time, though, he was set on an irreplaceable feeling of camaraderie welling up from deep within him. Maybe it was fate meaning like this. I'll be expecting to take extra special care of me. You to take extra special care of me when I see you on Uotatsu from now on. If there's anything you want to ask him about, go right ahead. I can't promise a reliable answer, but at the very least I can give you a spiritual support. That's very kind of you, thanks. Then it's a bit sudden, but what exactly does this place do? He gestured toward the church. Huh? Naturally, she was taken aback. She had no idea that Sojiro was a relic from the country, and her natural cleverness led her to misunderstand his honest question as high-level sarcasm. That's a good question. I guess in the end, what they offer is security for the spirit. Though maybe security isn't the right word. It's more like armor, a patchwork barricade. Or at any rate, the people themselves aren't improved at all. Oh, they also give out bread and wine. For free? Of course, it's donated by rich people anyway, so it's not like it cost them anything. Which reminds me, I almost forgot the most important part. None of their income is taxed. Salvation is a tricky business, but if you're able to exploit it properly, it's no risk. It's a no-risk, high-return. That is true. The government does not tax religious organizations. Like a church, churches do not have to pay any taxes, I think. On all the money they get. You could, but I don't understand, but it's a place you can come when you're in trouble, right? You could, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's probably best to come once a month or so for some temporary peace of mind. Spooky sounds of flitting filled the air. The two people with the shared interest polished window after window, whistling while they worked. Hey, I've got another question. That forest over there, what is it? Forest? You mean the forest on that mountain? No, I mean the forest on that hill. Apparently his pride as a person from the country couldn't tolerate calling something so small a mountain. Huh? That was pretty hard to climb, though I guess you're right. A self-deprecating shadow fell over her face. Sojiro noticed only too late that when her usual graceful smile faltered, it was placed in an utterly different expression full of cruel intimidation. Damn, dude. Of course, it's a hill, but see, there's something sticking out from the trees. It's almost like a chimney. He wasn't going to let that slow him down. That's exactly what it is. Believe it or not, there's a giant estate right in the middle of the forest, but since the entire area is private property, no one's ever been inside. That's how it goes in Alice's house. Everyone calls it the Kuonji Haunted House, but it's probably best to keep your distance. Even though it's such a small forest, there are countless stories of bad things happening there. People getting lost, wild dogs attacking, things like that. Wild dogs? There are wild dogs in the city too? There's a ton of them. You can find them in the back a lot behind this church. The priest here is always tossing them bread, so it turned into a part of their patrol route. Anyway, discretion is the better part of your valor. Staying out of the forest is one of the rules of the city. It's still private property after all, so you can't. So if you go in, you're just gonna get the cops called on you and end up having to sit through a long lecture in a police box. Not a fun time, right? He gazed at the distant chimney from atop the ladder. The reason he had been so interested in the hill in the first place was because it reminded him ever so slightly, of the forest where he grew up. But it seemed like it had nothing to do with him after all. Content with that knowledge, he turned his attention back to the task at hand. Thanks to Hanasawa's cooperation, the window cleaning went off without a hitch. The two people pitching in, they were able to wrap up the simple yet labor-intensive work in record time. Oof. I probably need a drink after that. Nice job. You can barely tell they're the same grime-covered windows from before. Hey, why don't we get some tea after this? I'll be my... Were you saying something, Hanasawa? Sorry, but I just remembered some urgent business. Got a jet now. Ciao. He turned around from putting up the ladder just in time to see her escape into the street at lightning speed. It was almost 3 o'clock. Over 3 hours had passed and she had offered to help out. He contemplatively watched her go, complacently. Even though she'd only stopped by on a whim, she stayed and helped for such a long time. She'd probably just remembered somewhere else she could make herself useful. Hey, Chizuki, are you out here? Aoko suddenly appeared from around the corner. Sorry to interrupt. Don't mind me. Just keep... She trailed off, seemingly mystified by the sight of him trying to put away a ladder taller than himself. After a second, she rolled up her sleeves and walked over. That surprised him even more than her sudden appearance. She stood next to him and briskly motioned at the ladder. Here, lay it on its side. I'll take the bottom. You can take the top. She spoke so naturally that he found himself putting the ladder down before he even had a chance to complain that he could handle himself. They received their reward from the sisters for a job well done and left the church. Aoko had errands to run near the station, so for the time being they were heading in the same direction. You're pretty good when it comes to work, huh? Aoko suddenly spoke up under the pre-evening sky. Rather than starting a conversation, it seemed she was simply thinking out loud. Really? I'm glad you think so. Sojiro smiled frankly, even though he had been pretty pleased with himself ever since he got paid, so it was hard to say if her words had actually affected him that much. Oh shit, she's blushing. Hey now, don't get carried away. Normally you're nothing but a headache. This isn't enough to make up for all the trouble you've caused me. Please don't talk about school. I'll cry. He hung his head. Part-time jobs were one thing, but the classes at school were another matter altogether. Even disregarding the exams, they weren't something you can catch up to in a short amount of time. Do you hate people with bad grades, Aozaki? Well, dealing with people who are slow on the uptake is tiring, but more importantly, you're not supposed to be my problem in the first place. It's a teacher's job to help students who are falling behind. It's your job to respond to their efforts. Working part-time is fine, but you have to make sure you properly prepare for your lessons when you get home, too. That goes without saying. Everyone at school is nice. Well, alright, but everyone's nice? She tilted her head. Why had he said something like that at the time like this? Was it just his way of expressing his gratitude? By the way, this is just for the future reference, but what kind of jobs are you working? If you mean where most of them are in the shopping district, you know, the fish shop, the flower shop, places like that. Oh, but yesterday I went all the way to the next town over for a job in the amusement park. The jobs approved by the school were limited to the Misaki shopping district, so his answers were pretty much what she expected. Except that is for the very last part. Amusement park? You mean the one in Yashirogi? Yashirogi? Yeah, they had me disassembling and disposing of the rundown attractions. It was really exhausting. I imagine so. Once again, she was impressed. All around sort of machines used at amusement park was exactly a job for students to do in their spare time. Still, I'm a little jealous. I never had the chance to visit Keatsi Land myself, even though I grew up here. She looked in the direction of the neighboring town. From here, she could just barely make out the giant Ferris wheel. Oh, I see it too. Its circular steel frame illuminated by the setting sun reminded her of the crumbling gravestone. Yeah. Really? Did you not have enough money? Oh shit! He's going with the ignorant burn. She stifled a laugh with her hand. It was rude, but she couldn't help it. No, it wasn't anything like that. It's just that after the park opened, I was always too busy. If it was a problem that could be solved by money, we can go right now, see? She shot off the envelope holding the earnings from their part-time work at the church. It was a cheerful gesture, yet Sojiro's face darkened when he saw it. Fine, in that case, let's go to the next time. You know, I'd like that. Unfortunately, it's impossible. I guess you didn't notice because you were you, but that place isn't open anymore. It shut down for good over 2 years ago. What? Looking back on it, I did think it was a little strange that he hadn't seen any customers the entire time he was working. Ako must have been enjoying herself. Normally this is the part where she would yell at him for making her explain something that should have been obvious, but it seemed that tonight, for some reason, she actually found it amusing. After they said their goodbyes, Sojiro went home and immersed himself in preparations for tomorrow's classes. Before I knew it, it was already time for work again. There were countless differences between the mountains and the city, but the usage of time was the biggest. Outside his apartment, everything moved so quickly. He put away the reference books he still couldn't understand and went out into the night. The night passed, and the night grew ever deeper. He pulled his collar to starve up the cold winter air as he walked home. It was eerily quiet. There were no dogs scrounging for food or people running errands. Even the nearby convenience store had closed at 11 o'clock. I was wearing a coat now. Exhausted, he took a conspicuously deep breath. The townscape built up from man-made objects was deserted. The pale fluorescent lights shone brighter than the stars. Though he wasn't consciously aware of it, it was making him incredibly uneasy. Pathetic, isn't it normal for the night to be scary? He talked tough, despite being hunched over and shivering in the cold. Stay out of the darkness. Don't go into the deserted places. He didn't know if there was a reason for it, or if there was just something about his face. All the people he'd met so far kept giving him the same advice. Still, even if they say that, no matter how much he was told to avoid the dark, he couldn't take it seriously. Light was everywhere here. And it wasn't just the main roads either. In the residential district far removed from the Clarendon station was drenched in a soft glow of electricity. There was fear, but the quality of that fear was different from the mountains. Probably because the underlying rules were different. The system of retribution here was made to favor one side over the other. If anything was scary, it was the fact that he still didn't understand those rules very well. In the mountains, those who broke the rules were punished on the spot. Accidentally wandering off onto an animal trail, for instance, getting mauled by the animals that lived there. To him, that was what it meant to make a mistake. Punishment was not something that was something meted out by people, but a natural consequence of breaking the rule itself. True. But in the city, things were not so clear-cut. There was no way to know what was right and what was wrong until it was too late. Still, it's basically the same. Probably. The retribution was simply delayed, that's all. To illustrate further, in his hometown, there was nobody entrusted with maintaining the security of the village. Here, however, in exchange for being an easy place for humans to live, there were people employed to punish those who break the rules. Unlike in the mountains, where crime and punishment were synonymous, in the city there were two separate things. Places you must not enter. Things you must not see. One wrong step, and someone would appear to punish you. That's how society worked. Oh shit. And therefore the best way to live safely was to avoid meddling in the affairs of others. Oh shit. Yes. Sorry, it was my mouse. I'm charging my mouse right now, so I'm using my trackpad. While it's charging. That must have been what all people worried about him meant when they said he should try to keep to himself. Whoops! I almost took a shortcut again. No matter how much of an inconvenience it was, he couldn't just hop the fence around people's houses to get to his apartment on the other side. By chance those people were awake, he would be reported to the police and even nobody would be able to help him. He was about to yeet over. Oh, there's his futon. Burdened with this distorted view of the city, Shizuki Sojuro quietly made it to the end of another day. Unable to fall asleep, he gazed at the sky from his bed. It had been the first thing to truly unsettle him after they came here. The convenience of almost every problem being solved with the flip of a switch. Novelty of a total stranger living on the other side of a single wall. All of it had been blown away the moment he looked up. No way, that's the sky? He still remembered the words that had slipped out of his mouth. Everything was so faint and so small. Can he really survive in a place where the stars didn't even shine at night? The anxiety that seized him that then still plagued him even now. He shut his eyes. Though his mind was filled with fretful worries, his body was exhausted from work and study, and he soon fell fast asleep. Damn. Wait a minute. Wait, was that chapter 3? Oh. Okay, so we'll do chapter 2 tomorrow. I'm probably gonna call it. I'm probably gonna call it for tonight. We took about 2 hours, so yeah, I will. I'll be streaming again tomorrow. I'm gonna host one of my other another person I really enjoy watching. So yeah, I hope you guys will give them give them some attention. I'm sorry guys. I'll be streaming tomorrow morning. We'll be doing more we'll be playing more uh Mahoyo tomorrow. Anyways, guys, I'll see you. I'm gonna be hosting some guys gonna be playing with Phantom. Peace.